Every day you wake up, the world is waiting, but not for you. The noise, the distractions, the people telling you who you should be, what you should do, and how far you can go. It's overwhelming. And somewhere in the chaos, that fire inside you, the hunger that once burned so bright, starts to flicker. You feel it, don't you? That pull to do more, to break free from mediocrity, but the world keeps pushing back. Every time you try to rise, life throws obstacles, doubt, and fear in your path. And it's tempting to stop, to settle, to think that maybe just surviving is enough. But deep down, you know it's not. Deep down, you feel that burning inside you, screaming, I was made for more. I am capable more. You were not created to blend in, to follow the path of least resistance, or to let your dreams be stolen by hesitation. That fire is your truth, your purpose, your destiny calling you to step up, to embrace the grind, and to demand more from yourself than anyone else ever will. Right now, I want you to look at your life as it is today and be honest with yourself. How many opportunities have passed you by because you were too comfortable, too scared, too uncertain? How many times did you let your thoughts control your actions instead of taking command of your destiny? That hesitation, that fear, that self-doubt, that is the invisible enemy standing between you and everything you desire. And it's not going to vanish on its own. You have to fight for it. You have to awaken a part of you that refuses to quit, that refuses to accept excuses, that refuses to be average in a world full of average people. You have to dig so deep inside yourself that even when life hits hard, even when the world tells you no, you rise, you fight, and you move forward with relentless energy. You must decide right here, right now, that nothing, no one, and no circumstance will stop you from becoming the person you were born to be. And hear me clearly, this is not just motivation. This is a call to action, a challenge to your very core. Your thoughts, your habits, your discipline, and your mindset, these are the tools you wield to shape your reality. Every decision you make today echoes into your tomorrow. Every moment you waste doubting yourself is a moment someone else is using to get ahead. So ask yourself, am I going to let this life happen to me? Or am I going to take control, dominate my purpose, and refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary? Your answers today will define your life tomorrow. The fire inside you is ready. The power is within you, and the world is waiting for you to step up. Your time to rise, to grind, to dominate your destiny is now. Will you answer the call, or will you fade into the crowd? This is the moment where your story changes. When life hits you hard, the first instinct is always to pull back, to react emotionally, to protect yourself, or to assume that something has gone wrong. But the truth is deeper than the initial shock your mind receives. Pain, real pain, is not just an obstacle or an interruption. It's a message, a signal, a wake-up call from life telling you that something in your path, your habits, your mindset, or your environment needs your attention. Most people experience pain only on the surface. They feel the discomfort but never ask why it's there or what it's trying to teach them. They get hurt and immediately label themselves unlucky, unprepared, or unworthy. They start thinking the world is against them, that life is unfair, and that they don't deserve to go through what they are facing. But that type of thinking steals the power that pain is actually offering you. Because pain is not a life sentence. It's not a curse. It's communication. Every challenge that knocks the wind out of you carries information inside it. It's telling you what path you should stop walking, which people you should stop trusting, which habits are destroying your potential, or which weaknesses you must confront. Pain exposes everything you've been ignoring. It breaks the silence inside you. It forces you to pay attention to what truly matters. When you learn to see pain not as a punishment, but as a message, the whole narrative of your life changes. Suddenly, you're not a victim of what happened. You're a student of it. You're not stuck. You're being redirected. You're not losing. You're learning exactly what you need to evolve. Think about the moments in your life that shaped you the most. Rarely were they the easy ones. Rarely were they the peaceful seasons. It was the heartbreaks that taught you self-respect. It was the betrayals that taught you boundaries. It was the failures that taught you resilience. It was the mistakes that taught you awareness. Every painful moment had a lesson. Maybe you didn't see it right away, but looking back, you know that pain moved you forward, not backward. The problem is that we don't see this truth during a moment of impact. When the hit lands, all we feel is the pain. The lesson is hidden behind the emotion, buried beneath the shock. That's why so many people give up too early. They walk away before the message arrives. But if you can stay present long enough to understand what the pain is telling you, you will grow in ways you never imagined. Pain's message is simple. Something must change. That change might be internal. Your beliefs, your discipline, your self-control, your mindset. Or it might be external. Your relationship, your environment, your priority. Pain shows up when you're out of alignment with who you are meant to be or the life you are meant to live. It doesn't show up to destroy you, it shows up to correct you. But you have to be willing to listen. You have to slow down and ask yourself hard questions. Why am I feeling this? What is this moment trying to reveal? What part of my life demands growth? What truth have I been avoiding? Behind every painful event, there is clarity waiting for you, clarity about your purpose, your direction, your strength, and your future. But there's another part to this message. Pain is temporary, but the lessons are permanent. The hurt doesn't stay forever. The confusion doesn't last. The frustration fades, but the transformation that pain leads you into becomes part of who you are. When life hits you and you choose to learn instead of collapse, you come out wiser, stronger, more resilient, and more focused. You develop a level of emotional intelligence that people who avoid discomfort will never understand. You develop patience, depth of vision, and stability. You learn how to stand in the middle of chaos without losing control. That type of strength can't be taught by comfort. Only pain has that type of power. People who run from pain stay the same forever. They repeat the same mistakes, attract the same problems, and fall back into the same cycles. Why? Because they never listen to the message. They silence the discomfort instead of studying it. They mask their emotions instead of managing them. They avoided the truth instead of accepting it. And so life keeps hitting them in the same place over and over until the message finally breaks through. That's why awareness is everything. If you can get to a level where you say, this hurts, but I'm going to learn from it, then no challenge can truly defeat you. You take your power back the moment you decide to interpret pain instead of being controlled by it. And here's the real power. Pain doesn't just teach you what to change. It teaches you who you are. You don't know your strength until you're forced to use it. You don't know your courage until you're required to show it. You don't know your endurance until life tests it. When life hits you hard, it reveals your raw identity, your character, your loyalty, your discipline, your focus, your determination. Pain strips away the excuses and exposes your truth. Sometimes that truth is uncomfortable, but it's exactly what you need to see to become your higher self. So when the next hit comes, and it will, don't panic and don't collapse. Lean in, listen, evaluate, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What part of me is being called to grow? What is life telling me through this discomfort? If you can understand the message inside the pain, you'll never fear challenges again. You'll stop seeing them as threats and start seeing them as opportunities. Opportunities to evolve, to sharpen your mind, to refine your character, and to rise stronger than the person you were before. Pain is not the enemy. Ignoring its message is, when life hits you hard, you don't just feel the impact physically or emotionally. You also feel it mentally. The mind becomes a battlefield. Doubt creeps in. Fear whispers louder. Your confidence shakes. Your direction becomes blurry. The second keynote is about learning how to control your mindset when you're standing in the middle of chaos. Because no matter how tough the situation is, your mind is always the first thing that either collapses or conquers. You don't win battles in life with strength alone. You win them by mastering the space between your ears. Anyone can act strong when everything is easy, but it's only when life punches you in the chest, takes away your comfort, or drops you into uncertainty that your mindset is truly revealed. When the hit comes, most people let their thoughts run wild. They panic, they assume the worst, they believe the pain is permanent and the problem is unbeatable. Their mind becomes their own enemy, feeding them negativity, convincing them that they're not capable, not ready, not strong enough to rise again. But you have to understand something. Your mind will always default to fear unless you train it to respond differently. The hit itself is not the problem. The story you tell yourself after the hit is what breaks you. The human mind is designed to protect you, not to push you. It wants comfort, not growth. It wants certainty, not change. It wants safety, not transformation. That means if you let your mind operate on autopilot, it will always talk you out of your greatness. Controlling your mindset during hard time is about taking responsibility for the conversation happening inside you. It's about refusing to let negative thoughts become your reality. It's about recognizing when your mind is spiraling and interrupting the pattern before it traps you. Because when life hits you, your mind will go to war against your progress, your potential, your discipline, and your peace. It will try to replay old memories of failure. It will exaggerate what could go wrong. It will magnify your weaknesses and minimize your strengths. That's why you can't allow every thought to stay. Not every thought deserves to be believed. Not every emotion deserves to be obeyed. You must decide which thoughts stay and which ones get dismissed. The strength of your mind determines the strength of your future. Every challenge you face is filtered through your mindset. If your mindset is weak, every small obstacle becomes a crisis. Every delay feels like a failure. Every setback feels like a sign to quit. But if your mindset is strong, even the biggest challenges become manageable. You see problems as puzzles, not punishments. You see setbacks as strategy shifts, not dead ends. You see pain as feedback, not finality. A strong mindset gives you perspective, the ability to step back and see the bigger picture instead of drowning in the emotion of the moment. It gives you the discipline to keep going even when your feelings aren't aligned. It gives you the resilience to rebuild even when everything inside you feels exhausted. But controlling your mindset doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It doesn't mean ignoring the pain or acting like the challenge doesn't hurt. It means acknowledging the difficulty without surrendering to it. It means saying, yes, this hurts, but I'm not going to let this pain dictate my decisions. It means saying, yes, I'm scared, but fear will not be the driver of my life. It means saying, yes, this situation is confusing, but I won't let confusion stop my progress. When you control your mindset, you don't deny reality. You redefine your response to it. You choose strength over panic. You choose clarity over chaos. You choose action over avoidance. A powerful mindset begins with self-awareness. You have to know your triggers. You have to recognize when negativity is building up inside you. You have to understand what environments, what people, and what habits weaken your mind. Because some of your battles aren't even coming from life. They're coming from the thing you constantly expose yourself to. Sometimes you're losing mentally because you're surrounded by the wrong voices. People who complain, people who doubt, people who settle, people who gossip, people who expect the worst. Their mindset becomes contagious. And if you're not careful, their thinking becomes your thinking. That's why you must protect your mental space like it's your lifeline, because it is. You must eliminate distractions, distance yourself from negativity, and create an environment that supports clarity, not confusion. You must speak to yourself in a way that strengthens you. You must build habits that elevate your discipline. You must train your thoughts the same way an athlete trains their body, consistently, deliberately, and intentionally. Mental strength isn't built in moments of comfort. It's built in moments where quitting seems easier, but you decide to push anyway. Life will always hit you hard in ways you didn't expect, at moments you weren't prepared for, and from directions you didn't see coming. But the one thing you can always prepare is your mindset. You can train yourself to respond instead of react. You can train yourself to breathe through the chaos instead of getting swallowed by it. You can train yourself to think clearly even when your emotions are loud. When you control your mindset, life doesn't break you, it shapes you. You stop being controlled by circumstances. You stop being influenced by temporary emotions. You stop being defeated by what is happening around you because you're anchored in what is happening within you. A controlled mind is dangerous to doubt, dangerous to fear, dangerous to weakness, dangerous to anything that tries to break you. Because once your mind is stable, your actions become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't collapse under pressure, but becomes sharper because of it. You become someone who doesn't fear the storm, but knows how to navigate it. You become someone who doesn't run from difficulty, but studies it, understands it, and rises above it. That's why this keynote matters so much. Life can take away your comfort, your plans, your expectations, and sometimes even the people you counted on. But if it can't take your mind, it can't take your future. When you control your mindset, you control your direction. And when you control your direction, no hit, no pain, no challenge, and no storm can ever stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. The third keynote is about rebuilding your strength after the impact. Because when life hits you hard, it doesn't just knock you down physically, it shakes your confidence, it disrupts your rhythm, and it makes you question whether you can keep going. Everybody talks about surviving the blow, but very few talk about what happens after the impact, when you're standing in the debris of what you thought your life would be. This keynote is about rising again, not as the same person, but as someone stronger, wiser, and more unshakable because of the pain you went through. It's about realizing that the moment life hits you is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new version of you that you didn't even know you were capable of becoming. When everything collapses, when you feel like the world stopped listening, when plans fall apart and the people you counted on disappear, that's when you discover who you truly are. Not the polished version you show the world, not the confident version people think you are, but the raw, unfinished, tested version. That version of you is the one that gets built when life hits you. And rebuilding your strength starts with accepting that life will not always go your way. Things will break. Seasons will shift. You will face losses and disappointments that feel unfair, unexpected, and overwhelming. But your strength grows in the acceptance, not in the resistance. When you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? That's when the rebuilding begins. Rebuilding your strength also requires honesty. You have to face yourself without excuses. You have to confront the habits, the patterns, the weaknesses, and the distractions that made the hit feel 10 times heavier. Life hitting you hard doesn't only expose the problem. It exposes the areas you ignored. It exposes the things you've been avoiding, the people you've been tolerating, the standards you've been lowering. Pain brings awareness. Awareness brings clarity. Clarity brings direction. And direction brings power. You can't rebuild if you pretend everything is fine. You rebuild by acknowledging the cracks and then committing to fixing them one by one. But rebuilding doesn't happen because you feel motivated. It happens because you choose discipline when your motivation disappears. After life hits you, it's common to feel tired, discouraged, slow, or numb. The mind wants rest. The heart wants comfort. But rebuilding requires movement. It doesn't matter how small the steps are. It matters that they're consistent. One push-up, one journal entry, one phone call, one chapter. One new habit, one difficult decision. Every small step becomes a brick, and those bricks become the foundation of your comeback. You don't rebuild your life overnight. You rebuild it piece by piece, day by day, decision by decision. And every time you choose discipline over excuses, you remind yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. A major part of rebuilding your strength is understanding that the pain you felt wasn't just a wound. It was a message. Pain always delivers information. It reveals what matters. It reveals who matters. It reveals what you need to change, what you need to release, and what you must become. Pain forces you to evolve. It forces you to grow into someone who thinks differently, who operates with intention, who protects their peace, who values their time, and who refuses to settle for average. When life hits you hard, it strips away illusions and leaves you face to face with truth. That truth becomes your fuel, your motivation, your new standard. Rebuilding also means redefining your identity. When life hits, many people start believing the hit defines them. They think failure means they're a failure. They think heartbreak means they're unlovable. They think loss means they're cursed. They let the hit become their identity instead of letting it become their turning point. But your identity is not built from what knocked you down. It's built from how you rise. You rebuild by choosing a stronger identity. Someone who is persistent, resilient, disciplined, and unstoppable. Someone who refuses to live in the past. Someone who knows that a broken moment doesn't equal a broken life. You also rebuild your strength by surrounding yourself with the right environment. After a hard hit, you need people who don't feed your excuses, but feed your growth. You need conversations that elevate you, not drain you. You need environments that challenge you, not comfort your weakness. You need habits that push you forward, not ones that keep you stagnant. Often the hit you take in life forces you to upgrade your environment. It forces you to leave behind people who were never growing. It forces you to separate from relationships built on convenience, not commitment. It forces you to become someone who values alignment, not attention. Another part of rebuilding strength is embracing the long journey. When life hits you, the comeback is rarely quick. It's slow, it's frustrating, it's unpredictable. There will be days when you feel progress and days when you feel like nothing is working. But rebuilding requires patience. A strong foundation takes time. You have to be willing to keep going even when you see no immediate results. You have to trust the process, trust your resilience, trust the small improvements, and trust that your consistency is building something powerful beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. Rebuilding strength also means becoming intentional with your thoughts. The mind you had before the hit is not the mind that will carry you through the recovery. You need a sharper mind, a wiser mind, a more disciplined mind. So you must challenge negative thoughts, strengthen your inner voice, and build mental habits that support your comeback. You have to talk to yourself like someone you are responsible for saving. You have to remind yourself that you're capable, that you're stronger than you think, that you survived worse before, and that this pain is temporary. But the strength you gain from overcoming it will last forever. Eventually, rebuilding your strength becomes less about what happened to you and more about who you're becoming because of it. You stop focusing on the hit and start focusing on the transformation. You stop replaying the past and start preparing for the future. You stop thinking like a victim and start operating like a warrior. The hit becomes your teacher, not your prison. And the moment you realize that, everything changes. Because here's the truth. Life hitting you hard doesn't end you. It wakes you up. It shakes you into growth. It forces you to rebuild the parts of yourself you've ignored for too long. It demands a new version of you. And once that new version rises, once you rebuild your strength, once you come back with clarity, discipline, and purpose, you become unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. And that strength doesn't just carry you through this storm. It prepares you for every storm that will come after. You rebuild not to return to who you were, but to rise into who you were always meant to be. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to understand something deep and powerful. Life isn't going to wait for you to be ready. It isn't going to pause while you gather courage. And it definitely isn't going to give you permission to remain the same. Every second that ticks by is another opportunity lost. If you choose hesitation, fear, or comfort over action, discipline, and relentless pursuit of your vision, the truth is you are capable of more than you've ever given yourself credit for. You have untapped potential, reservoirs of strength, and a resilience that only gets stronger when you refuse to let circumstances define you. You have the ability to turn obstacles into fuel, setbacks into lessons, and doubts into motivation that propels you forward with unstoppable momentum. The moment you decide to stand up, brush off the pain, and keep moving is the moment your life starts to transform in ways you didn't even imagine. But here's the reality. Deciding isn't enough. You have to commit. Commitment is not an idea. It is action repeated daily with discipline that refuses to bend to excuses, negativity, or temporary comfort. It's waking up before the world, grinding while others sleep, and refusing to let one setback shake the foundation you are building. It's about consistency when no one is watching, about faith in yourself when everything else seems uncertain. The path of greatness is not paved with luck. It's carved out of sweat, persistence, and an unshakable belief that you will not be average, that you will not settle, that you will rise no matter what life throws at you. You have to be relentless in pursuit of improvement, in pursuit of mastery, in pursuit of becoming the person you know you can be. And remember this, the power you seek, the success you crave, the transformation you desire, all of it begins inside of you. Your mindset shapes your reality. Your focus dictates your results, and your actions determine whether you rise or remain stagnant. Negativity, fear, distractions, and toxic influences will always try to pull you back, but your ability to control your mind, your choices, and your energy is the weapon that will cut through every obstacle. Stand guard over your time, your focus, and your inner voice. Feed yourself with purpose, fuel yourself with determination, and surround yourself with influence that elevates you instead of drags you down. So as this moment settles in your mind, let it ignite a fire you cannot ignore. Let it push you to take action right now, not tomorrow, not next week, but this very moment. Be intentional with every decision, fearless in every pursuit, and unwavering in your dedication to yourself and your dreams. Let the challenges you face, the pain you've endured, and the doubts you've conquered serve as proof that you can handle anything life throws at you. Every setback is a setup. Every failure is feedback. Every struggle is a lesson. And when you finally embrace that truth, you will rise, you will conquer, and you will become unstoppable in ways that leave everyone around you inspired and amazed. The choice is yours, and the time is now. Will you settle, or will you rise and claim the greatness waiting inside of you? Grind, the struggle, and the relentless pursuit of your best self start here. Start today and end only when you refuse to be anything less than extraordinary. Your life depends on your decision to act, and the world is waiting to see you unleash your full power. Do not hold back. This is your moment. Step into it, grind for it, and watch as everything you've ever wanted becomes possible.